Time for a new cycle. It is late spring. Let's ask old ChatGPT. When does summer begin? Our new cycle starts on June 9th. One of the great things about always designing these mesocycles is that you think you always come up with something bigger and better, and it's going to be the thing that you stick with forever. And then you learn something about your programming. What did we learn from the strength program? Like, really? Yes, I love that. One of the things that we learned during this last cycle is that RPE, or rate of perceived effort, is just as effective as using percentages. So we trained using RPE only, and I personally went through the cycle, and I gotta say, there were days where my RPE 7, let's just say for the bench press, was 265 pounds. Other times it was 285 pounds. And then on bad days, maybe it was all the way down to 225 pounds. I really like that adjustment. When I got to the end of the cycle, surprisingly, I hit an all-time PR in the bench press of 355 pounds. That's amazing to me because I was only lifting the bench for 3 heavy sets once a week for 8 weeks. Amazing. Another big lesson that we've learned over the last couple cycles is that the minimum effective dose prevents burnout. That's an important concept to kind of soak in. A lot of times, we fall in love with either weightlifting or high intensity or zone 2 work. And eventually, when you start doing something repetitively, there becomes an obstacle, a wall or a barrier that we build up in our minds that are like, man, I don't feel like doing that today. Well, as it turns out, when you give yourself the minimum effective dose of a certain stimulus, for example, zone 2, you're not going to get burned out. You're not going to experience overuse injuries. You're not going to look at the program and be like, damn it, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that again. Instead, it's like, yes, I was waiting for that day to come around. When we do zone 2 twice a week, that's an example of it. When we do high intensity 2 days a week, that's an example of it. Man, I'll tell you what we've learned is that the minimum effective dose is good enough to see adaptation as long as you're consistent. And when you're consistent, that's what leads to longevity. That's what leads to health and in the long run. And that's also what leads to meeting goals and building a big base in all capacities. It looks like it's crooked. Let's get back to what our spring summer cycle. First thing that you're gonna notice that's different is on our 6-day microcycle template, on our 6 days of working out, basically, you're gonna work out 3 strength days. And we're gonna use what's called the cube method, which is bench, squat, and deadlift. It makes sense to pair accessory work that we've been doing, which I love, a push-pull legs day. On your push day, that's your bench day, you're going to do push accessory work that develops both the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps. Additionally, on the push days, we're gonna focus on seated dumbbell shoulder press, and we're gonna call it tension and tempo. 3 sets of dumbbell shoulder press with varying tempos. Rolling into summer, who doesn't want bigger delts on their pencil? That's terrible. Let me try that again. What? On your legs day, that would be your back squat day. You're gonna do quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes. On your pull day, which is the deadlift day, you're going to do upper back, lats, lower back, and biceps. Really cool way to kind of pair all this stuff together. And we're gonna add that additional strength day per week. People love strength. When we review what's being done each week the most, it's always the strength days. The summer is the perfect time to test 3 days a week of strength. People are getting outside and they're using their aerobic capacity in other ways. Getting into the gym 3 days a week and hitting those strength days, it's almost a natural thing during the summer. The second change to this cycle is that when you take our 6-day cycle and you make 3 of those days strength, that only leaves us 3 days for conditioning. Normally we do 2 high intensity days and 2 low intensity days. We only have 3 days for conditioning, so we're gonna rotate each week. We're gonna do 2 high intensity days and 1 low intensity day one week, and then the very next week it's going to be 2 low intensity days and 1 high intensity day. That's going back to the idea of preventing burnout, especially during the summer when people don't want to be in the gym anyway. We don't want people doing too much low intensity and we don't want them doing too much high intensity during the summer. We'll hit the strength work consistently, and we'll add in the low intensity and the high intensity in different frequencies. What this is gonna look like to you guys is a more interesting program. On the low intensity days, we're gonna continue to develop our aerobic capacity through zone 2 style of programming, both through mixed modality, kind of CrossFit style programming, but also our run days, which people love, and I love in the summer to be able to get outside and run on the street, run on the sidewalk, or even roll the treadmill outside and just run outside and get some sunshine on your face. The high intensity days will be a high intensity interval training style of day where we're looking at like the Norwegian 4x4. And our second day is gonna be a dedicated CrossFit workout. We love CrossFit. We're gonna go back to like the 21-15-9 of couplets and triplets, wall balls, kettlebells, pull-ups. We're gonna do sandbag, push press. We're gonna go back to the basics and really enjoy the CrossFit style of programming again. We put this in there during the summer because we want to prevent that burnout during the summer that prevents people from getting into the gym and maintaining their fitness while they're getting outside and enjoying sports and watching their kids play games and all that stuff. Thank you for watching up to this point. Programming for the summer starts on June 9th and it's gonna run until August 17th. It's a 10-week program. Since you stuck with us this long, we created a code for 15% off. So enter Summer 15, follow the link in the description below and enter the code Summer 15 for 15% off. If you guys want to support us, get yourself a cool sweatshirt or a t-shirt. This one is our Outwork on Hustle summer sweatshirt. We're really excited about this cycle. It's going to be awesome. If you guys have any questions, hit us below. Happy to answer it, and we'll see you on the feed.